All right, everyone, let's go ahead and come back. We're a little bit ahead of schedule, so that's great. We had to round everybody up, which is good. If anybody sees the majority leader out there, would they send her this way? That would be nice. So if her office is listening, would you send her back to the committee room for me? That would be great. Just so folks understand, we're going to start with one bill hearing that we need to do on a DMV bill to deal with some of the DMV issues that are in front of us. And then we're going to go into a work session to try to get a bunch of things processed from earlier this morning that we heard, so we can get everything to the floor. And then we'll open it up and start doing bill hearings after that, depending upon the time and when the bell rings. And an agenda for tomorrow should be coming up pretty soon, if it isn't already out. And anything that doesn't get heard or finalized today will just roll till tomorrow, and that's just kind of how we're going to do it. We like to post a lot, so that if we have the time, that's great. If it's not posted, it's hard to do it. Even though the notice is gone, I like to give people notice of what's going on. So as soon as Ms. Kaufman's ready, we'll get started here in just a second. All right, we're still trying to reach out to the DMV to make sure that they're available for the bill, and so we'll give them some time since we're moving sort of quick. We'll go ahead and go through a work session committee. So most of the things you heard this morning are probably going to come right back around, and we're going to move them out of here and get them to the floor. All right, Ms. Kaufman, if you'd like to go ahead and start, and we'll just walk through it, and if somebody needs a timeout, just turn around and put a hands up, and we'll go from there. So with that, Ms. Kaufman.
Okay, the first bill up for work session is Senate Bill 416.
Okay.
Senate Bill 416 appropriates general funds totaling $515,509 for the Department of Taxation for replacement computers, printers, information technology hardware, and other replacement printers. There are no recommended budget amendments for this, or excuse me, bill amendments for this bill.
Okay, so with that, committee members, this is a budget implementation bill. Are there any questions? Seeing none, I would accept a motion to do pass from Vice Chair Monroe Moreno, a second from Ms. Benitez Thompson. Any questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any in opposition? Hearing no opposition, passes unanimously of the members present. I believe 417 is next.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 417 appropriates general funds of $1,336,800 and authorizes expenditures of non-general funds in the amount of $203,533 for the implementation of statewide e-filing solution for local trial courts. The bill also appropriates general funds of $1,290,292 for the implementation of a statewide case management system in the trial courts. There are no proposed amendments for this bill.
Thank you. Any questions? Not seeing any. This would be a due pass. I'll accept the motion from Ms. Monroe Moreno, second from Ms. Benitez Thompson. Comments? Hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any in opposition? Hearing no opposition, passes unanimously of members present. I believe 437 is next. Did I skip one?
No.
Okay, good.
Senate Bill 437 increases from $1 to $2 the fee associated with the commencement of any actions or proceedings in the justice courts for which a fee is required, and on the answering or appearance of any defendants on such actions or proceedings. The fees are required by current law to be deposited into the general fund for the use of the Department of Taxation to adopt regulations establishing a method for determining population counts, issues related reporting, and adopt regulations of associated review or appeals, and employ the demographer. And there are no amendments proposed for this bill.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kaufman. Are there any questions from the committee members? Not seeing any questions. This would be a due pass. I'll accept a motion from Ms. Monroe Moreno, a second from Ms. Benitez, from Dr. Titus. Second from Ms. Benitez Thompson. Comment from Dr. Titus.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think this is an inappropriate increase in fee and will be a no. Thank you.
Okay. So with that, any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those in opposition? Nay. So Dr. Titus, Mr. Hafen, Ms. Tolles, Mr. Levin, and Mr. Roberts. Okay. Motion passes. We'll go from there. Next bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 445 prohibits a contract from requiring the filing of any action or arbitration of dispute that arises to be instituted or heard in another state or nation, or from requiring the state to indemnify another party against liability for damages. The bill removes the bill requires, Senate Bill 445 requires the agency that directly purchases prescription drugs, pharmaceutical services, medical supplies to maintain a public record for information. And finally, the bill increases the maximum amount of contracts that the clerk or the Board of Examiners can authorize from $50,000 to $100,000. And there are no proposed amendments on this bill.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kaufman. Any questions on Senate Bill 445? Seeing none, this would be a due pass. I'll accept a motion from Vice Chair Monroe Moreno, second from Ms. Benitez Thompson. Comments? Seeing none, all in favor by signify by saying aye. Aye. Any in opposition? Hearing no opposition, passes unanimously of members present. I believe 449 is next.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 449 transfers the duties to develop and administer the Outdoor Education and Recreation Grant Program from the Administrator of the Division of State Parks to the Administrator of the Division of Outdoor Recreation, and this bill has no proposed amendments.
Thank you, Ms. Kaufman. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, this would be a due pass. I'll accept a motion from Ms. Monroe Moreno, a second from Ms. Benitez Thompson. Any questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And in opposition? Hearing none, passes unanimously of the members present. Moving on to, we did that one. I believe 457 would be next, Ms. Kaufman?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 450,
Thank you.
Senate Bill 457, as amended, temporarily increases the proportion of proceeds generated from the imposition of any license or registration fee and other charges regarding the general operation of a motor vehicle available for the administration from 22% to 27% from July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2026. And there are no proposed amendments for this bill.
Thank you very much, and this is raising the cap, correct? All right, just want to make sure we're good.
Madam Chair, that is correct. It's raising it from 22% to 27%.
Okay, thank you. So with that, questions from any committee members? Not seeing any questions, this would be a due pass. I would accept a motion from Ms. Monroe Moreno, a second from Ms. Benitez Thompson. Any comments on the motion? Ms. Tolles, comment?
Thank you, Chair. I know we've had this discussion a lot during our subcommittee meetings and our meetings as a whole, and I think I've expressed my concerns previously, so I still have those same concerns, and I'll be no.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none? All right, all those in favor, please oh, wait a minute. Motion, second, comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those in opposition? Nay. Dr. Titus, Mr. Hafen, Ms. Tolles, Mr. Roberts, Mr. Levitt? Did I see a hand go up? Mr. Levitt? Okay. And the motion passes. There we are, and I believe we're good there. Those others have moved. Yes, let's do it. Let's get it all moved, get it all to the floor, and keep it rolling.
Madam Chair, the next bill is Senate Bill 441.
Okay, I have to switch groups of bills here, so give me a second. 441. And when was that heard?
That was today. That's that seller's permit one that we just pulled with Russell.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Thank you for reminding me. I apologize. There we go. Okay. 441.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 441 revises provisions governing the issuance of permits for sellers of tangible personal property. The bill provides for the disposition of fees collected for the issuance of sellers' permits in the same manner as existing fees are distributed. The bill also makes conforming changes to reflect the movement of provisions of law governing the issuance of seller permits to Chapter 360 of the Nevada Revised Statutes. There are no recommended amendments for this bill.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Kaufman. Any questions on 441? Not seeing any questions. With that, this would be a due pass. I'll take a motion from Ms. Monroe Moreno, a second from Ms. Benitez Thompson. Any comments on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any in opposition? Dr. Titus, Mr. Hafen, Ms. Tolles, Mr. Levitt, Mr. Roberts? Motion carries. Let me make sure I might make my notes correct. All righty. With that, Ms. Kaufman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 428 is the next bill.
428. And when was that heard?
Madam Chair, that was heard on May 21st.
Okay, that's probably buried someplace. So, walk us through it, please. Go ahead.
Certainly. Senate Bill 428 makes highway fund appropriations totaling $12,904,978 for the Nevada Highway Patrol Division for the Department of Public Safety. This is to replace fleet vehicles, to replace fleet motorcycles, to replace an oral fluid mobile analyzer.
Whoop. Need to stop on that one.
Okay.
There's an issue on that one that needs to be rectified. We can't move that one right now. I apologize. That one went right by me, so we'll need to hold on to 428 for just a bit longer. Someone's working on that right now. Okay, apologies.
Madam Chair, the next bill is Senate Bill 430.
SB 430.
Senate Bill 430 makes various changes concerning the governance of scope of Nevada's infrastructure bank. It expands the board of directors of the bank to include the Director of Office of Energy. It expands the list of projects that may be funded through loans or other financial assistance from the bank to include projects relating to water, wastewater, renewable energy, recycling and sustainability, digital, social, and economic development infrastructure. It authorizes the bank to provide loans and financial assistance to Indian reservations, Indian colonies, and private nonprofit entities created for charitable and educational purposes. This bill has no proposed amendments.
Okay. So with that, committee members, you would remember the conversation about the infrastructure bank, having the governor come and open up the hearing, Treasurer Conine being here. So with that, are there any questions or comments? Dr. Titus?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Definitely supportive of the concept of the infrastructure bank. Just one clarification, Sarah. You mentioned that, Ms. Kaufman.
Ms.
you
Kaufman, yes,
Sorry,
thank you.
mentioned that it could be used for educational purposes. So just maybe on the record, would schools be able to apply for this fund then? Private or charter or public?
I believe we had conversation about that in the hearing, and I know the Charter School Authority has their own capital improvement program encapsulated within the authority itself. I don't think there is any prohibition, but the level of money and how it would actually work, I'm not sure if it would be better to go to the Charter School Authority to get your capital or go the other way, but it was indicated, I believe, during the hearing that the first couple projects would probably be bigger, more typical infrastructure projects, that they don't think that the sophistication level of getting those things online that soon would actually happen, that this was geared more towards larger things. But I'll let Ms. Kaufman clarify in case I misunderstood.
Madam Chair, I believe that is correct. It's for the infrastructure pieces of it. I think that the treasurer had provided some testimony indicating that this would be for some stable infrastructure projects at the beginning and then could be used for other purposes in order to provide for certain infrastructures. In terms of the charter schools, they do have a loan program. However, the amount that's provided in the reserve for that is fairly low, and it's for startup costs more so than actual infrastructure costs related to the construction of a charter school.
Okay, so with that,
And thank you for the clarification. Just want to get on record that nothing in there prohibits charter schools from applying for this at some point if money's available.
that is my understanding.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from any other committee members at this time? Not seeing any. So with that, there were no proposed amendments to SB 430. So with that, it would be a due pass. I would take a motion from Vice Chair Monroe Moreno, a second from Ms. Benitez Thompson. Any comments on the motion? Seeing none, all those, Mr. Hafen?
Sorry, Madam Chair. I just wanted to say that based on the conversations during the hearing on this bill, that these projects will be built in the state of Nevada. I will be a yes on this. Thank you.
Okay, so with that, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any in opposition? Hearing none, passes unanimously of the members present. Next bill would be?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next bill is Senate Bill 431.
Alrighty, got that one right here. Thank you very much.
Okay. Senate Bill 431 makes general fund appropriations totaling $231,109 to the Nevada Supreme Court for the Judicial Program and Service Division's budget for replacement equipment, as well as for the Court of Appeals, the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court Law Library, all for computer hardware and software replacement. In addition, Senate Bill 431 authorizes expenditures of $93,610 not appropriated from the State General Fund or the State Highway Fund to the Judicial Branch for the Administrative Office of Courts, the Uniform System of Judicial Records, the Judicial Education budget, as well as the Specialty Court budget for replacement computer hardware and software. Madam Chair, there are no recommended amendments for this bill.
Thank you very much. Committee members, any questions on 431? Seeing none, this would be a due pass. I'll accept a motion from Ms. Monroe Moreno, a second from Ms. Benitez Thompson. Any questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any in opposition? Hearing no opposition, passes unanimously of the members present. Next bill, Ms. Kaufman.
Madam Chair, the next bill is Senate Bill 432.
Got it. Thank you.
Senate Bill 432 makes a general fund appropriation of $530,024 to the Office of the Military and authorizes $741,824 for not appropriated from the general fund or state fund for maintenance projects at certain Nevada Armory National Guard facilities. The bill also appropriates general funds of $39,750 to the Office of Military for replacement computer hardware and software. And finally, the bill also makes a general fund appropriation of $43,180 to the Office of Military and authorizes $84,872 not appropriated from the state general fund or the state highway fund for replacement equipment and shop tools. There are no recommended amendments for this bill.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kaufman. Are there any questions? Not seeing any questions, I would accept a motion to do pass from Ms. Monroe Moreno, second from Ms. Benitez Thompson. Any questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any in opposition? Hearing no opposition, passes unanimously of the members present. The next bill, Ms. Kaufman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next bill is Senate Bill 433.
Okey-doke. Got it. Thank you.
Senate Bill 433 makes general fund appropriations totaling $2,620,411 to the Division of Public and Behavioral Health of the Department of Health and Human Services for maintenance and repair of various buildings at Southern Nevada Adult Mental Health Campus, maintenance and repair of various buildings at the Ross-Neal Psychiatric Hospital on the Southern Nevada Adult Mental Health Services Campus, maintenance and repair expenditures for the Ross-Neal Psychiatric Hospital and Southern Nevada Health Adult Mental Health Campus as well as deferred maintenance projects for the Deanie Townsend Hospital and deferred maintenance projects for the Northern Nevada Adult Mental Health Campus, as well as replacement of kitchen equipment for the Northern Nevada Adult Mental Health Services Campus. And there are no recommended amendments for this bill.
With that, questions from committee members? Seeing none, this would be a due pass. I'll accept a motion from Ms. Monroe Moreno, a second from Ms. Benitez Thompson. Any questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any in opposition? Hearing no opposition, passes unanimously of members present. Ms. Kaufman? Sweep it here. That's fine. Let's keep going.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 435 appropriates general fund appropriations of $23,567,659 and highway fund appropriations of $5,615,901 to the Governor's Office of Finance for the costs associated with replacement of the Advantage Financial and Human Resources System with Enterprise Resource Planning System. Additionally, Senate Bill 435 appropriates general fund appropriations of $32,055 and highway fund appropriations of $7,519 to the Governor's Office of Finance for costs of furnishings for the Operations Center for the Enterprise Resource Planning System. There are no proposed amendments for this bill.
Thank you very much. So SB 435, if I heard you correctly.
Yes, Madam Chair, Senate Bill 435. I
Okay,
apologize
thank
if I misspoke.
Oh, no, I think I transposed the numbers. So with that, are there any questions from any committee members at this time? Not seeing any, this would be a due pass. I would accept a motion from Ms. Monroe Moreno, a second from Ms. Benitez Thompson. Any comments? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any in opposition? Dr. Titus is opposed. Motion carries. So with that, next bill, Ms. Kaufman? Okay. Did you want to stop and do, we could come out of work session for a while, get some other stuff done, and go from there? Okay, that's a lot to send to the floor in one fell swoop, so let's get those out of the way. And we'll hold for just a moment, and then we'll do our DMV bill. Yeah. With that, Ms. Kaufman, if you'd like to start. The paper's flying.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
It's only Saturday.
AB 490 appropriates from the State Highway Fund to the Department of Motor Vehicles the sum of $7,840,974 for the cost of issuing refunds of the technology fee imposed pursuant to Section 3 and Section 7 of Chapter 394 Statutes of Nevada, NRS 2015, which is located on pages 2011 through 2000, or through 2000, 2211 through 2213.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kaufman, and Ms. Butler was there for a moment. Hello, Ms. Butler, I'm sorry we called you on such short notice. I apologize. It's just the way the weekend is sometimes. So if you could just give us we know what this bill is for. If you'd like to just give us a high-level overview, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Thank you for having me. Apologize for my appearance at this hour. Anyway, Senate Bill 490 would appropriate $7.84 million for the cost of refunding technology fees collected in fiscal year 2021, refunding approximately $5.8 million. And without this supplemental appropriation, the department would have to take this out of existing appropriations, and we would fall short in funding our technology project and other operating expenditures. And I'm happy to answer any questions the committee might have.
Thank you. And the $5 million refund is already accounted for, so this is $8 million to pay back $5 million.
That is correct, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. So with that, committee members, any other questions at this time? Dr. Titus?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, Ms. Butler, for being here on a late Saturday afternoon. So the DMV has not, as I heard, spent the $5 million that was collected, so you have that in reserve. Is that correct? All right. So,
Madam Chair, through Dr. Titus, yes, that is correct.
all right. So at what point did the DMV stop? At what point did the DMV stop using the fees that they were collecting?
Madam Chair, through you to Dr. Titus, we've been holding those fees in reserve for basically the fiscal year 2021 in pending a decision from the Supreme Court. So we've not used those funds.
Great, thank you. Follow up, Madam Chair?
Yes.
It has kind of come to my attention that there's been different suggestions on how to do that $1 fee reimbursement, not necessarily cut a check for $1 that's going to cost you $3 or whatever fund. Do you have any other options or business plans to reimburse this fee, and then I'll have a follow-up on how you came up with this particular number. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Ms. Butler?
Thank you for the question. Madam Chair, through you to Dr. Titus. We considered several options in terms of refunding these fees. We did have a suggestion from Senator Settlemyer that we did analyze extensively. His idea, and it was a good idea, which was maybe just give everybody $1 off a future transaction. The issue that we ran into with that is you can't guarantee using that methodology that it's a 1-for-1. So for instance, somebody coming in new to the DMV would get $1 off their transaction. Well, maybe they didn't live in Nevada last year and didn't actually pay the technology fee. So, the intent of this is to actually refund for the residents of Nevada that have actually paid the fee. The other issue with that particular solution is our fees are set in statute. So, that would require further statutory change to cut the $1 off a future transaction. We considered doing credits, and our system is so old and it is so clunky that the programming on that was going to be extensively more. The path that we're going down right now, and it would depend on whether or not the court agrees, is to treat this sum of money somewhat like a class action lawsuit, and let residents know who paid the fee, send them some sort of postcard, and set up a dedicated website such that if individuals want to take advantage of their technology refund, they would have to log in and opt in. And then we would cut them a check. That would prevent us from just willy-nilly mailing out a whole bunch of checks, having those checks possibly come back because we don't have good addresses for people, having to deal with interest compounding until they decide to opt in. So this seems to be the cleanest method that we can figure out to do this, but it does come at a cost, as we're asking for today.
So it's, and Dr. Titus, if I may, so in order to give back the money, you really need the technology fee to be able to upgrade your technology so you can give back the money. That's pretty much what it boils down to is, we've always had these stories about programming in the DMV, and I know we tease you guys about it, but every time we try to do something with the DMV, it ends up becoming a programming issue, and the whole idea behind the dollar technology fee was everybody would chip in, things would get done for the constituents, and folks would be able to access greater services by paying the technology fee, and here we are, having collected a technology fee to enhance technology, and we need the technology to give the money back. Correct?
Madam Chair, that's essentially correct. It just depends which pot of money you want to take it from, whether
Well,
highway fund
it
or
appears the
future-
general fund is going to end up having to take care of this, which means money that would have gone to something else will not go there, it will go to this instead. So with that, Dr. Titus, did you have another follow-up?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and I appreciate your patience. I was just wondering, did the court in its decision mandate on a timeline when this had to happen? And the point of the question is, can it wait until X time where the computer systems would allow you to know which ones had paid the fee?
Thank you for the question, Madam Chair, through you to Dr. Titus. They did not mandate. So what we're doing right now is we're working with the State Treasurer's Office and Controller's Office on the actual plan because Controller's Office is looking at having to hire some people. They will have to contract with Wells Fargo to issue the checks. So there's some things that need to be put in place to go ahead and implement this. So we're going to take our plan to our attorney. Our attorney has to present that plan to opposing counsel. Assuming opposing counsel agrees, that has to go to the court, and then the court will agree. And so there is no mandated timeline by which we have to issue the refunds, but the impression I got from our attorney is sooner rather than later. Plus, there's the issue of interest accruing. So the longer we delay this, the more interest accrues. So it's in our best interest to do this timely, sooner rather than later.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for all the questions. Thank you, Ms. Butler.
Okay. So with that, we're not going to beat up on the DMV. We have a bill before us that's spending $8 million to give them the resources that they need. So I just want everyone to be aware, this is not a beat-up session on the DMV, okay? So, Mr. Hafen.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I don't plan on beating up on the DMV today. On the time frame, the bill actually says that you have basically until June 30th of 2023, which basically gives you 2 years to commit the funds. Do you think that that's going to be enough time to accomplish everything you need to do by upgrading the technology and getting the checks cut?
Thank you for the question. Through you, Madam Chair, to Assemblyman Hafen. We don't plan on taking the entire biennium to issue these refunds. Again, what we're hoping to do, assuming the court agrees, is give people a window of time if they would like their technology refund to log into a dedicated website by a specific date. And then because our system currently, clunky though it is, can actually calculate how much we owe people. And so our plan is to not wait until we get the transformation. We would like to take basically fiscal year 2022 and get these refunds issued timely. And then the thought being, if people don't opt in, we would have to work with the treasurer's office, and perhaps those funds go over to maybe unclaimed property, and eventually wait out the statutory timeframe for that, and then eventually revert back to the highway fund.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure you had enough time. Appreciate it, Madam Chair.
Mr. Roberts?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just curious when you stopped collecting the fee. You had the forethought to not spend it. When did we stop collecting it? That's the final question. Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Julie Butler, for the record. Madam Chair, through you to Assemblyman Roberts. We stopped collecting the fee as quickly. So we got the Supreme Court decision on the 13th of May, and I think it was somewhere around the May 18th that we were actually able to go into production to stop collecting that fee. It took a little bit of programming to zero out that fee.
All right, are there any other questions at this time? Not seeing any other questions. Thank you very much, Ms. Butler. We appreciate you being available to us on such short notice. So this is the hearing for the bill. I'll go ahead and open it up. Is there anyone in the room in support of Assembly Bill 490? Not seeing anyone in support. In the room, on Zoom, no one other than Ms. Butler. Broadcast Services, is there anyone on the phone line in support of SB 490? Or AB 490, I apologize.
If you would like to testify in support on AB 490, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers on the line in support.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone in opposition to AB 490 in the room? Seeing no one on Zoom. Broadcast Services, anyone on the phone line, please?
If you would like to testify in opposition to AB 490, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue.
And kids like it and everything, so.
Chair, we have no one to testify in opposition at this time.
Thank you very much. Anyone in neutral in the room? Seeing none. No one on Zoom. Is there anyone on neutral on the phone line, please?
If you would like to testify in neutral on AB 490, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there's no one on the line to testify in neutral.
Thank you very much. I don't believe there's any closing comments necessary. With that, we'll go ahead and close the hearing on AB 490. So with that, Ms. Kaufman, what do we have next? So with that, we're going to go back into a work session, and committee, I believe we're going to address Senate Bill 424.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 424, as amended, creates the Public Health Resource Office within the Office of the Governor and requires the Governor to appoint the Public Health Resource Officer to oversee the office. With regards to the fiscal impact, the Public Health Resources Office requires $176,079 in fiscal year 2022 and $226,799 in fiscal year 2023 for personnel, travel, operating, and equipment costs for the office. In addition, the Department of Health and Human Services requires general fund appropriations of $76,062 in 2022 and $98,511 in fiscal year 2023 for personnel, travel, operating, and equipment costs for the activities required in the Office of Minority. And Madam Chair, these were amounts that were provided for within the bill, so there are no recommended amendments.
Okay, and with that, committee members, are there any questions on Senate Bill 424, which was heard this morning from the Ms. Korbolik from the Governor's office? Seeing none, I would take a motion to do pass from Ms. Monroe Moreno, a second from Ms. Benitez Thompson. Any questions or comments on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those in opposition? Hearing none, passes unanimously of the members present. And let's do a couple more SBs and then we'll go back if that's okay. If we could go ahead, Ms. Kaufman, and 310, SB 310. Sorry, Ms. Kaufman? She travels with a file cabinet. All right, so with that, SB 310, please. We're going to
Thank-
stay in work session for a bit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 310, as amended, appropriates $400,000 in general funds to the College of Southern Nevada through the Nevada System of Higher Education to support the Nevada Grow program. This was presented by Senator Neal, and there are no amendments for this bill.
Okay, committee members heard the bill this morning from Senator Neal. Very passionate, very animated testimony. But when you find something that works, you should be happy about it. So with that, are there any questions or comments on SB 310? Not seeing any, I would accept a motion, and this would be a do pass. There were no proposed amendments. I would accept a motion from Ms. Monroe Moreno, a second from Ms. Benitez Thompson. Comments? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any in opposition? Hearing no opposition, passes unanimously of the members present. With that, Ms. Kaufman, I've received word. The amendment that was done for SB 420 has been reviewed by the sponsor, and I believe she is good with it now. So if we could make sure that amendment is available, if it takes a moment, we'll just take a moment pause to make sure that the amendment is available for everyone. Not sure if it's been uploaded to Nellis or not, so we'll just take a second to make sure everyone has access to it. I don't believe it's on your desk. It was just approved, so it may take a moment to get it uploaded to Nellis. Do we need to go ahead and get it uploaded first and then go from there? Okay. We're going to take a pause. Broadcast services, so just to let you know. Committee members, I believe we can come back. There was a proposed amendment from Senator Canizaro, which is, the amendment is 3463. It is uploaded to Nellis. There was also a discussion in the hearing that the Silver State Health Insurance Exchange would need more money, so we're going to need to, not only the money that's currently in the bill, but we're going to have to appropriate more money into the bill. That is not encapsulated in that amendment. That will be done in addition to. And then there was also the amendment from Mr. Penrose, which we will be discussing. So with that, Ms. Kaufman, if you'd like to begin and walk us through this, and I want to make sure everybody's good as we move through it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 420 requires the Director of the Department of Health and Human Services to design, establish, and operate a public health benefits plan known as the public option. The public option must be available to all natural persons who reside in Nevada, both through the exchange and for direct purposes. The Director of the Health and Human Services must use statewide competitive bidding processes to solicit and enter into contracts with health carriers and other qualified entities to administer the public option through the director and may administer the program as necessary. In addition, Senate Bill 420, as amended, makes various changes to expand Medicaid coverage to the extent that money is available. Senate Bill 420, as amended, appropriates general fund appropriations of $167,500 to the Division of Welfare and Supportive Services and $1,639,366 to the Public Option Trust Fund to implement the provisions of the bill. As the chair had indicated, there is an amendment that is provided to the committee members. It is proposed amendment 3463, and that was recommended by the sponsor of the bill, Majority Leader Canizaro. In addition, there was a conceptual amendment that was provided by Mr. Jim Penrose related to some cleanup language. And finally, there was discussion during the hearing that an additional $600,000 in general fund appropriations would be required for the Silver State Health Exchange for waiver development and actuarial analysis that would be provided for in fiscal year 2023.
So with that, Ms. Kaufman, I know there was at one time an actuarial study involved. Is that encapsulated in the money that goes to the Public Option Trust Fund for them to do that study? Is that part of that $1.3 million? That was my understanding, but I just want to confirm on the record.
Madam Chair, I believe the $1.6 million was for the implementation of the Public Option Trust.
Okay.
It's also to provide system modifications in order to implement the provisions.
And so is there still a $500,000 appropriation for an actuarial study in the bill? Or was that amended out? I just want to make sure we have all the dollars associated with, since some of them have been missed. The last thing we need to do is try to amend it on the floor to add another appropriation after the first couple that have already been added.
Madam Chair, it's my understanding that the Silver State Health Exchange is doing the actuarial analysis.
So instead of the $500,000 for an actual actuarial study, part of the cost going, the $600,000 to the exchange is to cover to cover that portion of it. I just want to make sure we know exactly which component of dollars are going to cover which issue.
Madam Chair, that is my understanding. The actuarial analysis is $500,000 to Silver State Health Exchange, and an additional $100 is required for the waiver development for the Silver State Health Exchange.
Okay. All right. So committee members, you've gotten a breakdown on everything. Unfortunately, this amendment doesn't encapsulate everything, but everything we've discussed about will be part of the motion as we move forward. So are there any questions at this time on SB 420, all the variations on the amendments that we've discussed? It's 167,000 for the welfare division. It's 1,369 for the public option trust fund. It's $600,000 for the Silver State Health Insurance Exchange, which encapsulates the original discussion of the $500,000 for the actuarial study, and $100,000 for waiver development, and then the amendment proposed by Mr. Penrose, which has no fiscal impact at all. And Mr. Young, I see you've joined us.
Good evening, Chair Carlton.
Did we miss anything? We believe we've gone through this. Did you have anything you need to add at this time? Please don't
No,
ask
not
for
at all.
another
You've
appropriation.
No, you've captured the Medicaid notes. I'm also here representing the department. You've also, in your analysis, captured those from Division of Welfare and Supportive Services.
Okay, so I think we're good. Did he say something about? So, Mr. Young, I didn't understand. So what were you in reference to in Medicaid? We just want to make sure, since we've not had a group discussion on this. So what is the Medicaid issue?
Within Medicaid, there are costs within both, there are savings within 3243, and then system cost and actuarial costs within 3158, and then the portion of the public option totaling 263,000 in fiscal year 2021-22, and 871,000 in 22-23. And that is on the R2 amendment submitted under unsolicited fiscal notes on Nellis.
Okay, thank you very much. Committee, you'll find those on Nellis. And I apologize. Typically, we would have an amendment that would have all these components built in, but unfortunately, that didn't happen this time. This isn't a moment for questions, Mr. Haven, at this time. It's under exhibits. Yeah, everything we do is under exhibits, just like it has been for the last 113, 15 days, 16 days. Thank you, Mr. Young, for bringing it up. I'm going to have Ms. Kaufman clarify for the record so everyone's on the same page. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to provide some clarification that there is savings that is being estimated in the Medicaid account, and I would point out that in the Appropriations Act, which is Assembly Bill 494, there's back language in Section 91 that allows for the savings that's provided for in the Medicaid account to be transferred to the administrative account to offset that. So there is essentially no fiscal impact that needs to be accounted for within Senate Bill 420 with regards to Medicaid.
All right, so committee members, are there any other questions at this time as far as the fiscal notes go? I don't see any other questions. So with that, I believe the correct motion, do you want to try this, Ms. Kaufman, or you want me to go for it? I'll do it. So with that, committee members, we're looking at a mock-up. Proposed Amendment 3463 to Senate Bill 420, proposed by Senator Canizaro on May the 27th. That mock-up, which would also have, and in addition to that, this will be added to the amendment, $167,500 for the Welfare Division. Oh, that's already in there. So that would not be in there. So and the public option trust fund money is already in there. So the amendment would actually be $600,000 for the Silver State Health Insurance Exchange which would be $500,000 towards the actuarial study and $1,000 towards the waiver development and Mr. Penrose's amendment. Any other dollars that are needed at this time? Not seeing any. Okay. So with that, committee members, that would be the proposed amendment. Any questions? Ms. Kaufman, clarify, please.
Madam Chair, if I could just clarify, it was $100,000 for the waiver development?
Yes. I thought that's what you said. Yeah. Oh, did I? 100,000, I apologize. So with that, committee members, any questions? And we're going to make sure everybody sees this amendment before it hits the floor, to make sure it's right. Hearing no other questions or comments at this time, I would accept a motion to amend and do pass from Ms. Howdigy and a second from Speaker Frierson. Any questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And, oh, I'm sorry. I went right by Dr. Titus again. She can't quite get my attention. Dr. Titus.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think this piece of legislation is probably the single most damaging thing we're going to do to healthcare access in our state. In the entire time I've been in this building, I have incredible concerns about this bill, and we all say we want more access to care. And again, and I've said it all along, giving somebody a bus ticket without the buses and while ensuring that the buses will be available, we might as well be throwing them under the bus. And I feel this bill throws healthcare under the bus. Thank you, Madam Chair. I will be a no.
And thank you, Dr. Titus, but I remember when we did mental health in this state by giving people a bus ticket and sending them out of the state. So I believe we're definitely moving forward. It's not 100%, but it's a step forward. Mr. Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And during the hearing, I had some concerns about what this would do to insurers and specifically Health and Welfare Trust. I sat on the trust before. I think this is going to cost them monies, and therefore I'd be a no as well.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Speaker Frierson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think that we have an obligation to make sure that the public is not misled about the nature of what we're doing because there are guardrails built in. There are concerns that are valid concerns, but we also have a thing called time. And so if this is not going to kick in until several years, then a subsequent legislature can make adjustments. So this, I beg to differ that this is the worst thing unless folks who plan on being here don't plan on doing their jobs, which is our job to look at future legislation and make adjustments. So my understanding is not only do we have a study that's incorporated that'll provide some insight and direction, but regardless, even if we after that apply for a waiver, it doesn't mean that that waiver will be granted. And so we have guardrails, we have the ability to look at it, make adjustments, and I think that we are selling this institution short and misleading the public by suggesting that this body would not be able to make adjustments in 2 years if they need to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Any other comments at this time? I wholeheartedly agree with the speaker. It's not a secret. I have been skeptical of this bill from the very beginning, but I've seen the amendments, and I have talked to a number of the different proponents of the bill and opponents of the bill on it. I feel much more comfortable knowing that in the future, the people that are in this building now that do come back are well aware of what's going on, and I trust them to make the best decisions they can to protect the constituents of this state. So with that, with the time on the issue, why, we can go from there. Any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those in opposition. Dr. Titus, Mr. Hafen, Ms. Tolles, Mr. Levitt, and Mr. Roberts. So with that, we'll get the amendment put together, and I'll be happy to make sure that folks are aware of it. I'd like to have a couple people double check it with me to make sure that we've got it correct. Committee members, we are still in work session, so we're going to go ahead and get Assembly Bill 490 to the floor because we realize how many days are left in the session. Ms. Kaufman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Assembly Bill 490 appropriates from the State Highway Fund to the Department of Motor Vehicles the sum of $7,840,974 for the cost of issuing refunds of the technology fee. Madam Chair, there are no recommended amendments to this bill.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions on Assembly Bill 490 at this time? Seeing none, I believe the motion on this would be a due pass. I'll accept a due pass from Ms. Monroe Moreno. Thank you very much. Second from Ms. Benitez Thompson. Comment from Dr. Titus.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will be a no on this bill. I feel that it's premature and that the DMV has not thoroughly vetted the other options. And again, I will be a no. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Titus, we're gonna have to have some conversation here. We have a problem before us, we have to solve it. We proposed another bill that we thought would be a solution, but that didn't work. We're only here for another 3 days. The DMV has an issue that they need to deal with. They need the money to fix the problem. We leave in a couple of days. We don't have time to wait to keep discussing this and keep coming up with multiple options. We need to give them the resources. There was a court case made very clear that this needs to be rectified, and these dollars need to go to where they need to go to get the problem fixed. I don't see how this is premature.
Follow up, Madam Chair?
We're having debate. Go for it.
Thank you. I think the important issue is, and I do concur that there is a problem that we need to fix. However, one of the reasons that I asked the questions that I did of the DMV is that there's not a actual date that the court has said that we have to reimburse these fees. And so my suggestion is that we do not pass this at this time, because I think it is not and has not been actually all options concerned. And I'll throw in, if I might, that when we take our license plates back, there's ways that they credit us, and so there's other options they already have in programs. So I'm just not convinced, and I recognize that's why we're pushing this, is because we only have 3 days. But I, again, do not feel that because there was no court actual mandate, which is what I wanted to get on the record, that this is an appropriate time to do this. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Well, Dr. Titus, I wholeheartedly disagree with you. I feel it is the legislature's responsibility at this time to deal with the problems that are presented with us and to move forward. We will not be here, God forbid, after Monday at midnight. So we can't wait around for the court to decide what they're going to do. We waited around long enough. We have a responsibility to do this. Believe me, I'd much rather spend this $8 million on autism. That would help solve a big problem with autism right now. But instead, we are spending $8 million on helping the DMV refund $5 million. So we really, honestly, I don't believe, have a choice. We cannot slow this thing down. By the time it gets to the floor, it has to get to the Senate. They have a 3-day process. We are at 3 days. There is no longer time for discussion on this issue. Nobody wants to vote for this bill, but we need to get it done. Assemblywoman Tolles.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and not to break up the discussion, I have a question.
Yes.
Forgive me if I missed this, but I thought I heard this was coming out of the highway fund, but was it originally deposited in the highway fund, or was it deposited in general fund? If we could clarify that.
This refund that we're giving will be given out of general fund dollars. No, it's highway fund dollars? It's highway fund dollars.
So the money went into the general fund, but we're pulling it out of the highway fund to pay
Ms.
for that.
Kaufman.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, the technology fee is actually in the DMV's budget account. For the last year, they've been allowing it to accumulate in their reserve. They haven't spent it with the pending lawsuit. And so that particular amount, roughly $5.6 million in the technology fee, will be paid out of the DMV's fund. The costs associated with the refund, so the issuance of checks, the various system implementations that they have to do in order to effectuate the refund, is what is being discussed currently, and that's that $7.8 million from the highway fund to provide for the costs associated with the refund.
And I apologize, it is highway fund. There's been 4 different bills on this, and they all come from different funds, so I apologize for that.
That's all right. I understand. Thank you. I
Ms.
appreciate that
Bedina's
clarification.
Ms. Bedinas Thompson.
Thanks so much. I guess I'm wondering, does it have to be the highway fund?
Madam Chair, through you to the majority leader, no, it could be general fund as well.
It could be general fund or anywhere else we've appropriated money. If we need to pull back 8 million or the 7.8, we could pull this from anywhere in general fund. There's no preclusion on that according to the lawsuit. We have to repay it, but it's up to us to figure out how to repay it.
The technology fee itself was deposited into the DMV, and so that the $5.6 million is the revenue that needs to go back to the various customers. However, how you go about implementing this, or how you go about paying for the costs associated with refunding the money, can be either from the highway fund or the general fund.
Okay, so if we're not going to do this, if people don't like where we're paying this fee from coming out of general funds, we have to rebate the cost of the fee, obviously, but the cost of rebating it, it has to come from general fund, but we can pull it anywhere from general fund. So if members, for some reason, are feeling very protective about this coming from the highway fund, we can look to somewhere else in general fund. Well, maybe we'll have to look at some of that then.
All right, any other questions from any other committee members at this time? Mr. Roberts?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And not a question. I don't have a comfort level that needs to come from somewhere else. I'm perfectly fine with the funds coming from the highway fund. I just have an issue. I do believe it's a little premature. I think there's some other options that we could do later on. So I'll be a no. Thank you.
And Mr. Roberts, when is later on?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Later on could be when the courts and the parties involved settle on how to return the fees, we get a plan on how to return the fees. We could do it through IFC, through a contingency account. We could actually put this money in a contingency account and spend it in IFC rather than appropriate the funds now. But those are other options in my short time here.
Thanks. I would just say, I think that's maybe we should consider some different things. So we could be open to looking at different things, fine.
Ms. Kaufman?
Can you please repeat the question?
I believe the suggestion from Mr. Roberts was to use general fund dollars, and because that's the only thing you can put in contingency account is general fund, not highway fund.
Well, then I guess that's not an option then. I said I didn't have an issue with using highway funds.
Okay. But I
But
don't
can
believe we can.
can you appropriate highway funds from IFC during the interim?
Madam Chair, yes, you can put a highway fund allocation into the IFC contingency account and appropriate it similar to like what we do with general fund appropriations in the restricted highway fund.
It sounds like a great option. Thank you.
So with that, committee members? I think we need to let folks think about it because things have changed 2 or 3 times since we started the conversation around this bill. I think we're going to set this one aside for a moment because there's a lot of moving pieces to it and a lot of different things have been brought up. This has been an issue that's been in the session for pretty much the whole time. And now we're hearing other options that folks might be comfortable with. I just want to confirm that depending upon which direction we go, that it actually ends up being supported if we get there. It's not just being suggested and then still voted against, which I have had an experience with this year. So I don't want that to happen again. So I think we're going to set this one aside for a little bit and then go from there.
Madam Chair, I'll give you my word. If that's the way route we go, I'll support it.
No comment. So with that, I think we're just going to set Assembly Bill 490 aside for a little bit and then work on some other bills. So hold on for a moment and we'll figure out what's next on the agenda. With that, I've gotten, I'll wait for Mr. Leiser. Sorry, we did have a motion and a second, and we got distracted with conversation. So if the person who would make the motion in the second withdraw, please, then there's no motion, there's no second. We'll go from there. So those are withdrawn by Ms. Monroe Moreno and Ms. Benitez Thompson, and we'll move forward from there. Thank you, Mr. Leiser.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next bill is Senate Bill 428. It makes a highway fund appropriation totaling $12,904,978 for the Nevada Highway Patrol Division of the Department of Public Safety for the replacement of fleet vehicles, the replacement of fleet motorcycles, for oral, $400,750 for oral fluid mobilized analyzers and cartridges to be used for drug-related offenses, the replacement of mobile data computer tablets, equipment items for the division's multidisciplinary investigations and reconstruction team, replacement printers and associated mobile adapters, as well as replacement computer and hardware as well and software equipment. And Madam Chair, there are no recommended amendments for this bill.
So with that, Ms. Kaufman, the one recommendation I would make to the committee is to delete from the bill the provision of $400,750 for oral fluid mobile analyzers and cartridges. We would delete that out of the bill. That would not be encapsulated in the bill. Any questions or comments from the committee? Seeing none, that would be the proposed amendment. I'll accept an amendment from Ms. Monroe Moreno, a second from Ms. Benitez Thompson. Questions or comments? Mr. Roberts?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wholeheartedly support this. These police officers definitely need these new vehicles, and I was impressed by the fleet management of the state, and I'm happy to support.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And any in opposition? Hearing no opposition, passes unanimously of the members present.
Madam Chair, the next bill is Senate Bill 434. It appropriates general funds of $25 million to the Governor's Office of Finance for the construction of a medical school at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Excuse me, there are no proposed amendments.
With that, committee members, we had heard this bill a couple days ago. A lot of discussion about the history of the medical school, what was going on, how it was going. A description from Mr. Hardy and other folks about the equipment that was needed. This is the last dollar in, and that's typically how the state does it. So with that, are there any questions or comments from the committee at this time? Dr. Titus?
Happy to be a part of this, Madam Chair. I wholeheartedly appreciate that we need to put the material in this building that we have funded in the past, that it's been a community project, and that's really the key, the community investment, and that this will indeed improve access to care in Nevada. So I'm excited to have been part of an early graduating class, and I won't say what year, in Northern Nevada. I'm very proud to have been part now that sees Southern Nevada realize its dreams. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments at this time? Not seeing any. I would accept a motion from Ms. Monroe Moreno, a second from Speaker Frierson. Any other questions or comments on the motion? The chair has not been supportive of this in the past because of the previous history, but I have been given guarantees that this time, this money will be spent and will not sit in an account while other people need services. So I've been guaranteed that this money will actually be spent, so I will go ahead and support it this time. So with that, seeing no other questions or comments, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any in opposition? Hearing none, passes unanimously of the members present. All right, committee members, I don't see anything else for us at this moment. Let me check with the majority leader on what our floor schedule looks like, because I don't want to, she's been gracious enough to give us this much time in the committee room. I need to figure out what we need to do next. All right, committee members, we have gotten a lot done today, a lot of moving pieces, and bills are leaving the third floor and headed to the first floor, so I don't believe we have any other business before us this evening. The bills that we did not get to this evening will roll into tomorrow, and there is an agenda for Sunday, and there will be an agenda for Monday morning. So with that, I believe we can go ahead and adjourn tonight. Give me just a second. So committee, since we are headed into the last 2 days and we know what those last 2 days can actually be like, we would be adjourning today and we will not be back tomorrow morning until 11 a.m. But I want you to all be very well aware that if we start at 11 in the morning, we'll probably still be here at 11 o'clock at night, and then we'll roll right into the final day. So be prepared for one very long Sunday, Monday. So. All right, just want to make that clear with everyone, so it would be 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So with that, since we are going to adjourn, we will go ahead and take public comment. Oh, whoa, wait, speaker just heard me. Committee members, I'm sorry. The speaker has spoken, and I serve at the pleasure of the speaker. So we are not adjourning. We will need to come back to deal with some other issues. We're just waiting for them to do their thing. I thought he liked me, but I was wrong. That's the only part you care about, right? Yeah, and depending upon what happens tonight, that might give you 6 hours of sleep. So, with that, committee, we're going to go into recess. I am sorry, we're going to recess. And don't get your clothes dirty on the playground when you go on recess. Call of the chair. Sorry, guys. Thank you all very much. But 11 o'clock still stands. I won't let him change my mind on that. Okay.